Good morning. Welcome. Hot Takes Goodman and Haertl. Nuggets lose. The Rockies, how often can you honestly say about a franchise when you're on the road to the worst record in modern baseball history, it actually surprises you when they fire their manager? I mean, think about that for a second. I was surprised when they fired Bud Black. But with that, how was Broncos training camp?
Actually good. I enjoyed it. You know how I am. I loved being out there. Football was in the air. It was great to see those first 4 picks, 4 of the 7. We didn't get to see the punter. 2 of them are projects, Q Richardson and Loner, the tight end. But I'll tell you what, Eric, those first 4 picks are all going to be people that contribute. And in RJ Harvey, the guy that they had to hit on the most with a running back in need of a dynamic presence in the running game, I'm not going to go too off the wall on one day of observation without pads on, but man, he looks the part. I just will say that. He looks the part.
There's nothing wrong with saying that.
That's all I got.
You're not saying that he's going to have a 1,200-yard season rushing. You're not going to say that he's going to have 400 yards receiving. Looking the part is a first impression.
Yeah.
And if your first impression was he looked the part, nothing's going to change.
Yeah, well said. And in fact, I asked Sean Payton about this. If there's a difference between a first look and a first impression, especially with the rookie, and there is, I think clearly, because sometimes, you know how it is, it takes a rookie a little while to leave the kind of impression of, hey, how am I going to use this guy? How does he make us better? You can see those things with RJ Harvey right off the bat. Now, how it comes to fruition, if it comes to fruition, remains to be seen. But from a standpoint of size, speed, quickness, vision, hands, which I think was probably a very pleasant surprise to a lot of us in attendance. They ran so many routes for him in the passing game just on Saturday alone. So, I mean, it was great to see. So, they're a long way from a football game still, but it was nice to imagine the possibilities on Saturday.
Game 5 tomorrow night in Oklahoma City. The series is tied at 2. If you're looking for a great place to watch the game, highly recommend you go to the Sportsbook Bar and Grill. You can find them in the DTC and in Highlands Ranch. I popped by the location in Highlands Ranch last night. It was nearly impossible to park because the parking lot was full. That's how you know a place is great. That's how you know a restaurant is great. It's a sports bar, but you know a restaurant's great when the parking lot is full. So many great things on that menu. You can start with some cheese curds or maybe some Brussels sprouts. I'm a big fan of the Philly cheesesteak egg rolls. Great burgers, outstanding wings, all kinds of sauces. It's just a really fun environment to watch a game. And Sportsbook Bar and Grill was founded by 3 sports fans. 3 sports fans. And you can tell by walking in, they thought of everything to make the experience amazing. Go check them out in the DTC, Highlands Ranch, and coming soon to Parker. Time now for the lead.
The lead is presented by Sasquatch Casino, a family-owned casino that treats you like family.
Game 1 against the Clippers. You and I had this conversation. The starters are playing a lot of minutes. How many minutes are the bench guys going to play? Eventually, when will these starters run out of gas? You cannot essentially play 6.5 guys. What I mean by 6.5 guys is you have your starting 5. Westbrook is getting really good minutes. And you're getting maybe 15 minutes from Peyton Watson. It's going to be a tough time winning a championship, winning, 16 games, playing with basically 5 starters. We saw them run out of gas yesterday.
Yeah, the irony is that Oklahoma City was kind of in the same boat, but they are better equipped to deal with it, and that was proven yesterday. Eric, if you and I were having a beer and I told you for sure that Oklahoma City was only going to shoot 35.5%, and was going to go 10 of 41 from three in the game yesterday, you'd have said, how much did the Nuggets win by? But the fact of the matter is that this was a Thunder game that was won in Nuggets fashion. They stayed with them. They were dogged in their determination. They grinded, and they grinded late. This is a team, remember, there's so many questions about Oklahoma City and their ability to close. Well, the questions last night about the ability to close, or yesterday afternoon rather, were more for the Nuggets than it was for Oklahoma City. The Nuggets were the ones that took a lead into the fourth quarter at home and couldn't protect it. They were done in by a very poor first half and a very poor first quarter and a very poor last quarter. So here we are going back to Oklahoma City, all even at 2. But how even is this matchup?
Okay, so let's look at the benches, both of them. 27 ineffective minutes, basically, from Russell Westbrook. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. Then you have Strawther and Watson combining for 14 minutes. Those three guys combined for 8 points. Now, the Thunder bench. And as you said, it's not like OKC's starters were lights out.
No.
The Thunder did have 5 guys come off the bench. 87 minutes. 87 minutes, 35 points. Now, we talk about three-point shooting, a bunch of zeros on the board for the starters for OKC, with the exception of Dort. The reserves were 8 of 18 shooting from 3 for the Thunder. The starters were 2 for 23. It's unfortunate that you have a game on Friday that goes into overtime, and it's a short turnaround. Some will say, well, the schedule makers are punishing the Nuggets. No, they're not. No. The Nuggets don't have a bench. Yeah. That's why they got punished.
Yeah.
Schedule is the schedule. And when the schedule came out, Bruce, and there was a game every other day, which, to the best of my recollection, that's a rarity in the NBA playoffs. Every other day, usually it's like there's a game on Tuesday, the next game is like on Saturday, which is way too long. The schedule hasn't helped, but that's the Nuggets' own fault, specifically Calvin Booth's fault. And while OKC starters weren't great, as you mentioned, and you are right, I cannot believe that I'm saying this, but the logical thinking is, as long as you have Nikola Jokić, you have a chance to win a title. Not in the last 2 games.
Yeah, not in the last 3 games. Really, when you get down to it, right?
It's not necessarily because of him. OKC has been handsy with him.
Yep.
There should be probably more calls as well. But the thing that concerns me most is a comment that he made after Friday's win. He said, I don't know what they're doing to me defensively, because if I knew, probably I'm not going to have those kind of mistakes. So I need to figure out what they're doing. That's what he said after Friday's game. That easily could have been said after yesterday's game. Jokić has hit 39% of his shots, 23 turnovers, 21 assists. This is what is most concerning, that the Rubik's Cube that has not been able to be solved for Jokic's entire career has now been solved.
Yeah. Oklahoma City has a great plan, and they've enacted it consistently and successfully. They're throwing a lot of bodies. They're physical. They've got 2 guys that can protect at the rim, and they've done a good job. And look, Nikola Jokic's effectiveness will always be judged differently than other players because he's dragging 2 or 3 guys around. Every time he comes down the floor, he's got a couple of guys around him, another guy waiting to help. And Oklahoma City's the number 1 defensive team in the league, not just playing the Nuggets, playing everyone in the league. This is who they are. This is who the Oklahoma City Thunder are. And yeah, everyone gets enamored with SGA, and with good cause. He's a marvelous player. He's fun to watch. He's worth the price of admission. But what makes Oklahoma City so tough, so compelling, and so hard to beat is that they figure out what you need to do defensively to beat another team. And look, the Nuggets in the worst way, and I never thought I would hear myself saying this, need the Nikola Jokić of game number 1. They need a 42-point night and about a 24 rebound night, and I'm not sure that that's coming anymore, because Oklahoma City has worked out a plan, and they are working it well. Now the thing is, this thing is still 2-2, but I think I probably am not quite as confident with the statement is as long as you have Nikola Jokić, you can win a game. That may or may not come to fruition, but to this point, we haven't seen it.
I'm going to use an auto racing analysis, or analogy, I should say, with Oklahoma City's defense on Nikola Jokić. When you watch a NASCAR race, when you watch a Indy car race, eventually after so many laps, that car is going to go to the pits and they're going to change the tires, and then the car is going to go back out. The problem for the Nuggets with Nikola Jokić is this. It seems like Oklahoma City defensively has an unlimited number of tires it can change, throwing bodies at Nikola Jokić. And if those guys foul out, okay, that's fine. We'll just bring somebody else in who's really good defensively.
Yeah.
For the Nuggets, they don't have many tires. They only have one Nikola Jokić, right? And then when you look at their bench, they maybe have one set of tires for an entire race.
And Oklahoma City is a really good example of defense never rests. You can weather a bad storm shooting the ball like they did yesterday, but what did they win with? They won with defense. And that's where you get into look for the hustle and the effort stats. If you want to start somewhere really simple, just look at what they did defensively. Look at what they did rebounding. Those are the types of things that you need to, when teams aren't shooting well, what other things are they doing to help themselves win a game? And we saw that yesterday with Oklahoma City. And I think that we will continue to see it with Oklahoma City throughout the playoffs, whoever they're playing. Hopefully it's 3 more games with the Nuggets, or 2 more games if things go well tomorrow night. We'll have to wait and see, but Oklahoma City's a load, and there's a reason they won 68 games. We're seeing it.
Well, okay, I'll ask you yesterday. First blush, who won the 50-50 balls? Balls in the air. You have an Oklahoma City player, a Nuggets player, equal distance from the ball. Who's winning those balls?
I felt like Oklahoma City won that battle.
Okay.
Yes.
So you have a team in Oklahoma City that is winning those battles. That's number one. Number two, they can afford to give fouls. Number three, they didn't come off a 7-game series against the Clippers and then jump right in to game 1 in this playoff series. And they have depth. They have every advantage. We are now seeing what depth does.
Yeah.
These guys are getting worn down. Yes, you can find a way to muster up enough energy when it's a close game and there's 5 minutes to go. We saw that in game 3. I just don't know how they keep it going. For the rest of the series. And that was my biggest concern. I said to you before the start of this series, take the Nuggets' best 5 and throw them out on the playground with Oklahoma City's best 5. I'll take the Nuggets in that.
Yeah. I mean, they've got better than a puncher's chance in that situation. But to your point, and this needs to be reiterated, they are coming off a 7-game series with the Clippers. But you know what? Don't finish 4th in the conference. I mean, anything that the Nuggets are dealing with right now is because of their doing. Everything that the Thunder are dealing with right now is because of their doing. The Thunder are in a better position to not only win this series, and we're talking about a series that's 2-2. They have home court advantage, of course, going back to Oklahoma City, but to continue to win into the playoffs because of their youth, their depth, their quality of depth, and the way that they play together. But more than anything, because of their willingness to do the dirty work. This is a team that will get in and get their hands dirty. And I'm not saying that the Nuggets aren't. They just don't have as many hands to get dirty with. That's just kind of the way it is. So the Nuggets are in a situation that they have put themselves in. And it's not necessarily Nikola Jokic's and Jamal Murray and MPJ's fault as much as it is the supporting cast around them from an administrative standpoint. Calvin Booth and building this team, Michael Malone, the way that he used players, all of these things. The Nuggets are in a deficit position, even though it's tied at 2 in this series, just because of the way that the roster is put together.
Do you think it's these players are willing to get dirty, or they just want it more? They're hungrier.
I don't know. I always resist the you want it more. I think everybody wants to win, and everybody wants to win painfully. I mean, you'll do just about anything, but how far will you go? I mean, that's a fair question. But then how far can you go? You watched the Nuggets yesterday, especially in that first quarter and in the fourth quarter as well. They couldn't throw the ball in the ocean from standing on the shore. I mean, no matter how hard they tried, their legs were just not giving them what they needed to be balanced.
Fatigue makes cowards of us all.
Absolutely.
And it's interesting that it happened in those 2 quarters, coming off an overtime win. And I don't think they played poorly because they were feeling good about themselves. They were tired. And you know what? Oklahoma City's starters were tired as well.
Sure.
It's not like they literally lit it up in the first quarter. Now, they had a lead. The Nuggets only scored 8 points. It's not like Oklahoma City scored 30 in the first quarter. They probably should have scored 30 in the first quarter. And then by the time you get to the fourth quarter, you're gassed.
Yeah. And that's exactly where they were last night. No question. Hey, if the Nuggets don't have a significant advantage at the free throw line, they aren't even in this game. Even with the poor percentages that Oklahoma City shot. I mean, the Nuggets were staying in this game because of their advantage at the line. But one of the most frustrating things watching that game yesterday was the Nuggets' inability, even when they got open shots, to make good shots when they were open, let alone the hard ones. So tough position to be in. Better than being down 1-3 or 0-3. I mean, at least they're 2-2, and they're going to a place that they've won a couple of times. So there's at least some things in their mind that should give them confidence. But I don't know, man. And they're going out of altitude to go down and play at a lower level. All of those things, I hear you. But how much gas do the Nuggets have left? And more importantly, which team is quicker, do you think, to recover? I think Oklahoma City is clearly the answer to that question. They are the team that's younger and deeper, and it will be easier for them to recover from what was obviously a difficult day yesterday for both teams.
I think it is somewhat ironic that the Rockies finally won yesterday. Finally won. And then they fired their manager. It is just so Rockies. Not that it shouldn't have been done, but that pretty much sums up this messed up organization. That's next.
Spice up your next night out at Nola Jane and Lodo. Authentic Cajun cuisine like andouille sausage gumbo with dirty rice, crawfish etouffee, as well as 6 different po' boys like soft-shell crab and shrimp. Come in before or after a game at Ball Arena. Host a party or party on their rooftop deck overlooking Market Street during happy hour from 11 a.m. to 5. Plus, Nola Jane caters, delivers, and the kitchen is open late night. Make Nola Jane your new favorite spot to eat, drink, and party like it's Mardi Gras.
Ever wondered where city and county fleet vehicles go when they retire? Now's your chance to find out and score big. Imagine driving away with a great deal on a reliable vehicle. For over 45 years, Roller Auction has been the trusted source for government fleet vehicles and equipment. Trucks, SUVs, sedans, and more, all selling to the highest bidder. Don't miss out. Visit roller.bid/hot takes to get auction updates today. Your next vehicle could be just a click away.
Everyone has their favorite sports bar. Mine, the Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch in the DTC. Both locations are everything a sports bar should be. An upscale menu with 12 different burgers, outstanding wings, and my favorite, the Philly cheesesteak egg rolls. They've got every game on the NFL Sunday Ticket, MLB Extra Innings, NHL Center Ice, NBA League Pass, plus soccer, rugby, and UFC. Sportsbook is a hangout bar or great for private parties. The Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch, the DTC, and coming soon to Parker. They are the sports bar.
Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos in Blackhawk have another incredible promotion. They'll be giving away a Ford Bronco Raptor or nearly $30,000 in cash the weekend of May 23rd. Get finalist entries from 10 a.m. until midnight during their daily cash drawings every 45 minutes or by redeeming player points. And all daily cash drawings that don't get picked are eligible for a second chance drawing on Wednesdays, and that can turn into extra cash. Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos, a family-owned casino that treats you like family.
Everyone has their favorite barbecue spot. Mine, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew. My favorites, slowly smoked ribs, smoked corned beef Reuben, smoked meatloaf with a portobello balsamic cream sauce. And don't forget about Smokin' Dave's 16-hour smoked brisket and pork with one of their 4 homemade barbecue sauces. Great sides, you bet. Barbecue beans made with pork and brisket and their southern corn bake. Man, you gotta try it. Plus, they have amazing non-barbecue entrees on the menu. Go where I go, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew in North Denver. If Bud Black wants to blame someone for getting fired, he should blame the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Pirates last week fired their manager after back-to-back 100-plus loss seasons. They had twice as many wins as the Rockies. And anybody who's a Rockies fan or who covers the Rockies, anybody who read that story thought, wow, the Pirates, they made a move. What about the Rockies making a move? And they finally did. And I got to be honest with you, when I saw the news, and this is how pathetic this organization is, I was stunned. They fired their manager, and the team has won 7 games out of 7 times out of 40 games.
Yeah, it was the most Rocky way to do someone bad. It was remarkable to me. And I know they lost 21-0 the night before. How much do you really need to know beyond 21-0? I mean, they were 6-33 going into yesterday.
Right.
I mean, if that didn't tell you something, then 21-0 probably should have. But to do them that way is just, to me, I would say inexcusable. You just don't need to do that. But regardless, we knew that there was going to be a sacrificial lamb coming. That's exactly what Bud Black is. Fine. It will make 0 difference on how this team moves going forward. I think now they're going to be better than 7-33, but those are the numbers basically starting to take over. I think that they'll be better than that. Hell, no team has been as bad as 7-33. I got one for you, though, Eric. What are the odds that Michael Malone was fired before Bud Black, and they both came in basically at the same time?
I'm not sure if I understand the question.
Michael Malone and Bud Black basically came in a year difference, 2 years difference, and Michael Malone was the first one fired.
Oh.
To me, it's remarkable that Michael Malone was fired before Bud Black, when the Nuggets are in the midst of their 7th straight playoff or whatever it is, and are a few years removed from the NBA championship. It just goes to show you how crazy things are, but it also shows you how crazy the Colorado Rockies are.
Right. It's about expectations.
Unreal.
For the Nuggets, the expectations are high.
Of
And
course.
again, when you have Jokić, they should be. For the Avalanche, the expectations are high. When you have McKinnon and McCarr. For the Rockies, the expectations are, let's make sure we fill that ballpark.
Yep. No question.
Yeah.
And they
Now-
had Then they had like 32,000 on Friday night, and I think they announced 30 yesterday or something on a beautiful Mother's Day. It just doesn't matter.
Okay, let me ask you a quick question. Do you think, and I don't think this will happen, do you think if fans boycotted, Monfort would, actually, now that I think about it, what's there to change? He changed the manager. The truth is, the problem is him, talking about Dick. And it's not that the narrative about him I don't agree with. But yes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the pizza narrative about him and just rearrange the slices.
Yeah.
People say about Dick Monfort, guy doesn't want to win. That's not true.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to win. Do you know anybody that doesn't want to win?
No, don't.
It is such a lazy take. It's lazy analysis. I don't know anyone who doesn't want to win on any level. I think there are a lot of problems for Dick Monfort. One, he's way too involved. Okay. He doesn't know who to call if there's a job opening. He doesn't go outside his organization. All of those things are true in spades. It's not that Dick Monfort doesn't want to win. I just don't think he cares if he loses.
And I don't think he knows how to win. I mean, he surrounds himself with people that have not proven themselves on any level as successes relative to baseball. Look, I'm not talking about the business. The business is great, right? I mean, McGregor Square is going great. The ballpark is what it is. It's a great place. Blah, blah, blah. We all know that. But from a standpoint of putting a competitive squad on the field, I don't think they know how to do it.
They don't.
Until there is a total cleaning. And Eric, I think we could be doing this 10 years from now, and we would be having the same discussions while we were gumming our food, I mean, right? I think we would be having the same discussion. Why would Dick Monfort doesn't have to sell the team? It's his. It's his to do as he pleases. I know that he pines for a salary cap. I don't think it's going to happen.
Salary cap's not the problem.
It's not the problem. The problem is who he has surrounded himself with and the trust that he has given those people. They don't know how to run a winning organization. You and I talk about this all the time. It's called draft and develop. And in Major League Baseball, you've got to be able to, identify players at the draft. Then you have to be able to develop them. This isn't the NBA or the NFL where players step in and they immediately have impact. You miss on 75% of the players that you draft because only about 20% or fewer than that are going to make the big leagues anyway. Then when they make the big leagues, they've got to have an impact. Everyone talks about, the Rockies have such good young talent. Do they? Do they have good young talent? I'll give Hunter Goodman some credit. Guy's hitting 288. He was 3 for 5 yesterday, had a home run and a triple, drove in 5. He's been consistent. But come on. They don't have great young talent. They bring Trejo back. The second version around for him now, he's throwing the ball around the ballpark. The only big league team he's ever played for happened to be the Colorado Rockies, and he's been with other organizations. He's not a major league player. Amador at second base is, don't even get me started because I'm a baseball guy. I want to be a fan of the Rockies. I want to have more than just a passing curiosity on the Rockies, but they piss you off, basically. And that's where we start with the Rockies. And unfortunately, it's where we end.
One thing that pisses me off is when people make mistakes and they're not accountable for their mistakes. Dick Monfort keeps banging the drum about the salary cap. Dick, you might be right. Maybe there should be a salary cap. I'm with you on that. The problem is, as you are focused over here about the salary cap, okay, the real problem is over here that drafting and developing is your issue. The Florida Marlins have a much lower payroll than you do. The A's have a lower payroll than you do. There are plenty of teams with lower payrolls that have more success. Tampa Bay, traditionally, lower payroll. The problem isn't how much money you're spending. It's who you're giving your checkbook to. And then you're giving them the keys to the car to draft and come up with a development plan. Bill Schmidt is the worst general manager in the history of professional sports.
Wow.
That is not hyperbole. He is the worst general manager in the history of professional sports. In his first 2 full seasons, they've lost over 100 games. He has averaged 99 losses in his first 3 full years on the job. And this year, he's going to blow way past that stop sign. He is the problem as well. Bill Schmidt, I will drive that fucking guy to the airport to get him out of town. He is that bad. And he's been around for so long. He needs to go, Dick. Start calling people outside the organization, or you are as dumb as people think you are. You are a brilliant businessman. You are a terrible baseball man. Do whatever the hell you want to. And you know what, who I blame as well? The fans. Don't talk boycott. Follow through. You want to hurt Dick Monfort? Don't show up. But you can't help yourself. And oh, by the way, I'm sorry, I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid. Coors Field is not that great of a ballpark. Got news for you. It's nice. It's got a nice view. It's plain to me. There's nothing about it that's that great. I mean, what kind of bells and whistles does it have that I am truly missing? I've been to great ballparks, as have you. Nice view of the mountains. It sucks when the sun is in your eyes for a night game when you're sitting on the first base side. It's a nice ballpark. It's nice. It's not great. There's nothing great about it. But Dick Monfort got lucky walking into a situation in which Lodo was built.
Yeah.
He didn't build Lodo. The Cubs built Wrigleyville. Make no mistake about it. They built Wrigleyville. The Rockies, with Dick Monfort, walked into a situation where that place was going to be a cash cow, win or lose, because of Lodo. Party deck, brilliant idea.
Yeah.
Dick, good on you.
Yep.
McGregor Square, I don't want to hear about it. You already had Lodo. You're not getting more people down there to go to McGregor Square. You already have plenty of bars. You're just adding on to it, and that's cool. So at the end of the day, okay, for Rockies fans who will get upset with me for saying it's your fault, I'm sorry. It's not your fault. It's the fault of the people who are Red Sox fans and Dodgers fans like you, Bruce. You are the problem.
I know.
Because you're showing up for games when the Red Sox are in town.
Yep.
So that's the lack of accountability I will now give. It's not Rockies fans. It's the other fans of the Braves and the Cubs and so on and so forth. They're the reason why Dick Monfort won't make big changes. And actually, when it comes to accountability, it's kind of interesting when you look at it that way. Because if the Rockies fans don't show up and there are 15,000 a game, I think that Dick would probably get the message a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
The Rockies fans want to say, oh, no, we want to go to these games, and it's a beautiful night out. It's not like you're going to really see baseball, because you're not.
Oh, no, I don't think
you're going for a nice experience.
Exactly.
Now let's blame it on the opposing team's fans. They are the reason why that Dick Monfort won't make any changes. I suppose the sacrificial lamb is fine, and it's Bud Black, and now they have a 40-year-old third base coach who has been with the organization for like 3 years. I'm sure he'll get hired. Who knows if he does or not. I'm surprised that Clint Haertl wasn't named the manager of this team on an interim basis, but I'm kind of glad he wasn't. And I like Clint very, very much. But firing Bud Black is like throwing a lawn chair off the Titanic.
Yeah, absolutely. I respectfully disagree with you. I think that Coors Field is a great place. I like the ballpark, but I like the ballpark for a lot of what you're saying. I like going and watching the other team, and I do that. I do. I mean,
You're jaded by it because your team always wins there. That's why you like going. You have good memories.
and but I do like the ambiance of the ballpark, and I think the weather in Colorado it just plays into it. Beautiful summer nights at the ballpark, just to be outside and to be somewhere where something is going on, but you can have a conversation, and you have entertainment on some level. It's just, for me, it's a good feel. I like the buzz. That's me, though.
You want to know why you can have a conversation at Coors Field?
Okay.
Because
Yes.
nobody's cheering for
Nobody's cheering. Yeah, nobody's cheering.
You're not fighting the crowd.
Yeah. And here's the thing. They make this move, and I don't know. I wasn't a part of the conversations, obviously. I'm not privy to it. But they make this move almost with the attitude that it somehow will signal a new direction for the team. That this is the starting point for where we jump on now. And by God, this is going. What is it going to change? Because
I don't know what it's going to change, Bruce, but I will say that Bill Schmidt said this, and I don't trust a word that comes out of that guy's mouth, but I will trust the words that came out of the mouth of Kyle Freeland. He said clearly some changes needed to be made to start turning this thing around and us going in a new direction, getting us some traction. Bill Schmidt hinted some veteran players felt they needed a change in direction, and that began with Bud Black. So if the veterans are seeing it,
right,
just like the players on the Nuggets were tuning out Michael Malone,
yeah,
you kind of have to acquiesce to that.
But my concern is that when you are 7-33, that has a hell of a lot more with the roster, who you're rolling out there, the readiness or lack thereof of this team to be playing competitively at this level. And that has a hell of a lot more to do with the administration as a whole for this baseball team and franchise than it actually does on the field with managers and coaches. And to their credit, and Kyle was this way, and so was Ryan McMahon, two guys that I really respect and like a lot, that took responsibility as well. It's like, hey, it's on the players too, and that's a statement of the obvious. But just admitting it is a good first step. But Eric, where do you start? And the answer, I guess, is you start with the new manager. But really, where do you start now with trying to get this franchise even relevant, not competitive, relevant? It's a long trip from where they are right now to even getting there.
Bruce, it is hard enough to build a team to play Coors Field and then a team to play on the road at sea level where there's humidity. And we're not going to do a deep dive on the differences between playing at Coors and playing on the road. That is a full show conversation. I'll tell you where Dick Monfort should be embarrassed. And I mean really embarrassed. He just watched a couple take over a franchise in town and turn around the winning, the losing to winning, the culture, how to treat fans, how to treat the players, how to hire the right people. Greg and Kerry Penner unwittingly have thoroughly pantsed Dick Monfort on what ownership looks like.
I don't disagree. It's and maybe that's a hard pill to swallow.
Not for him, no.
But I don't know. I mean, and look, and I'm glad that you have Dick's back on this part of the equation. He does want to win.
Everybody wants to win.
Everybody wants to win.
I'm not giving him credit for wanting to win. Do you know anybody that doesn't want to win?
He does. He does, but I don't like it when people say, "Well, they just don't care about winning." Of course, they care about winning. They just don't know how to win.
They don't know how to win. Okay, but when you have 3 straight seasons under Bill Schmidt, and the average number of losses is 99. And now this is the worst by far. Then apparently losing doesn't bother you. That's why I said I wanted to flip that around, that narrative.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to win. For some people, losing is hard, but you can live with it. For other people, it's intolerable.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, for Dick Monfort, losing is not intolerable. Look at what his franchise has looked like. Jeff Bridich was awful. Was an awful GM. Okay? Bill Schmidt's worse. Bill Schmidt's worse. He just is. Sorry. It's time for him to go too. You're not cleaning house. The foundation is built by the general manager and the scouting department.
Right.
It's like you have a 2-story house and you've taken down some walls and you're rebuilding up there. Your foundation is about to collapse. So Bud Black is upstairs and Bill Schmidt is responsible for downstairs in the foundation. You fired the wrong guy, Dick. You fired the wrong guy. Even if you fire him, who are you going to replace him with? Somebody, the marketing director at the Hartford Yard Goats. Is that going to be your next move? Anything else to add on this, or we'll wrap this up?
No, that was a tough one. And I know you and I both really like Bud Black. This isn't personal. It's a professional decision. I understand it. I wish they had done him a little better. I know that he's taken care of financially. That's not what I'm saying. But this is a really good baseball man and a really good guy who was, I think, very well liked and respected by those in the organization, certainly by those in the clubhouse, even though the way things ended, and by those of us in the media. He was a great guy to work with. I wish him all the best.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Hot Takes Goodman and Haertl. See you tomorrow.